Hello, my name is Alejandra Cruz, and I will be talking about confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? The actual definition is a type of thinking error in which one tends to attend, seek, and give more weight to evidence that supports one's favored position rather than evidence that could disconfirm it. Going further, it is when one's existing belief becomes an obsession and people won't do research in order to be wronged. This cognitive bias can become problematic because it can lead to poor decision making and challenges people to accept new information and be proved wrong with good quality evidence. Scientists are not immune to this bias. This thinking error could happen to anyone. It is the way people try to fight their biased beliefs that makes it different. Confirmation bias can be seen in politics, religion, and science. Some history of confirmation bias is when a psychologist named Peter Watson started researching about this cognitive bias in 1960. This helped increase the amount of studies made in the future, like political decision making to scientific research. He made an experiment where his participants got a set of three numbers, like 246 or 369. Then he told them to guess the rule which the set of numbers used, and to then use their own three set of numbers. They would be corrected at the end if they used the right rule. The participants found out that the actual rule was to choose any three numbers in an ascending order. But many participants discovered that rather than attempting to disprove their hypothesis of increasing an even number by 2, participants preferred to seek their beliefs. This type of experiment has become replicated in many ways throughout the years. Confirmation bias on the internet is when this main evidence becomes people's way of spreading their beliefs and assumptions and could trap them in a void. Some effects of confirmation bias on the internet is that most social media platforms use algorithms, which personalizes content for users based on their interests and browsing history. This surrounds them with the ideas and information, reinforcing them even more. Secondly, the misuse of information people use and believe information that correlate with one's pre-existing beliefs. This could also be very difficult to find new information, and they won't get out of that void that I talked about. Some ways that you can avoid confirmation bias is to become more open-minded. One needs to open up towards different opinions, information, and ideas, questioning one's assumptions, challenging them by asking questions. By practicing critical thinking, one could weigh their pros and cons of their arguments, helping them make more rational decisions. Lastly, being with people or information that reinforce these beliefs will not help you reach those different ideas and perspectives. Some examples are stereotyping. When people believe in a rumor or assumption without doing any research to disconfirm it, spreads that assumption worldwide even and won't let others do research as well because it will be seen as, oh, it's true. like political beliefs, many. Another example is superstitions, like the people who believe that climate change is not real or that the world is flat. These people are using weak information that will not want to be seen as wrong. One assumption I tend to make is when looking for preferred products. I acknowledge the better reviews of the brand and don't really pay attention to the bad ones because I want to believe that it is a good product for me until I try it out. Here is a video.
American songwriter Paul Simons once said, different information that confirms multiple assumptions. Amongst dozens of those around, spots a few clusters of gold. It makes bullseye living. Sounds weird? It's called the Texas structure of fallacy. All the time.
To summarize this confirmation bias is a type of cognitive bias that dismisses information that contradicts people's pre-existing beliefs. It remains an obstacle for critical thinking, and people need to become more open-minded in order to move on.
American songwriter.
These are my references, and thank you.